out here in the garden. Yeah. This is a big chore, isn't it, Brett? What are you doing, Bridget? Yeah. Well, Randy did a good job putting our terraces in. Came in with the bulldozer, flattened them out, got us going. But the one thing that we didn't think about was, and the bulldozer certainly does a lot quicker, but if I was going to do the terraces again, I would come through with a skid steer and finish it. A little bit less weight than that big old bulldozer, Breck, huh? Because this is what I've had to do for every single raised bed we've put up. All the beds up there, our whole second terrace, which is just about to be complete. And I can imagine I'm gonna have to do something similar to that third terrace when we mess with that this winter. But it just got so compacted that, and our soil doesn't help. Basically no topsoil here. It's all clay. And if you look in here, it's all clay and rocks, which means that I cannot use a broad fork or a digging fork because I just hit so many rocks going in there that by the time... What are you doing, Bridge? Mommy, why don't you see what Breck's doing? He was making a face there. Where are you going? Breck's been out helping. But basically, it's so compact, and yes, we could just do it like this, put the bed in, put our compost on there, and try to mess with it, but this is the way to do it right, and we're only gonna have to do it once. I mean, with these beds, I don't ever plan on going back in there and forking them again. Now, I might need to go in there with a digging fork. Would you make some more balls? Oh, it's certainly a chore, and it's a lot of work. But as you can see, as I'm digging in here, look at this clay. I mean, that's not like red clay. That's the, you could take that inside, and actually Dr. Miller has taken some of this stuff inside, dried it down, and used it to make her seed balls, which you need like a pottery clay for, which that stuff right there was just about perfect. And you could, I'm making that seed ball. We should make our own pots and pans and bowls from this stuff, Bridget. I'm making that. Breck, catch. But so we are doing, it's one time, it's a lot of work, but we can tell the difference. I mean, if you look up at our beds right there, and I'll have probably you walk up there, Dr. Miller, as I'm finishing this up, but you can see some of these longer beds, the strawberries are looking great, and they would not look that way if we just put 4, 6, or 8 inches of compost on basically hard pan. It's just not going to work. Even if we came in here with a tiller, I couldn't use like
You tried.
Yeah, I can't even use like a rear tine garden type tiller because there's so many rocks in here that you're skipping or you're busting the tiller. It's a mess, and there are big rocks in here too. We live on Rocky Top basically, and that just is what it is. And that's why we have these beautiful raised beds here. We've got the horses creating a beautiful compost, a manure, and it's all working together. And as you can see, we're creating a lot of good tasting vegetables we're eating from the garden, and we're certainly loving that. But with everything, there's a bit of a trade-off. If you're gonna do raised beds and to get them established right, we really want to get this. If we didn't have this soil, we wouldn't be doing raised beds. You made a peanut butter? That's nice. We wouldn't be doing raised beds if we didn't have this soil, but we have the soil, we're doing raised beds, and hey, we're working with what the good Lord gave us here, and it's turned out all right. It's nice to sit back and think, you know, as I finished that first terrace, Dr. Miller was wondering why I was taking so long to finish the second one. It's like, well, I know it's gonna be a lot of work, but it certainly is nice. And now that we're just getting ready to finish our second terrace, we've got one more terrace to go, and then it's kind of going into next spring. The hope is that it's really just building and making sure that the beds are productive as possible. It's not building beds or building the garden every year. So that's the goal, and that's the hope with it. Vegetable-wise, all we truthfully need vegetable-wise could happen on almost just one terrace. 2 terraces are going to get us through definitely, but once we get that third terrace and even the second terrace is going, we can really focus on more things like our starches, so sweet potatoes, white potatoes, things like that. But I don't know. Do you want to walk around there, Dr. Miller, and show everyone this second terrace? You don't have to show them inside the greenhouse because I still haven't put landscape fabric down, but you can show them that we, with our compost or manure that we're scooping from the barnyard. It's very rich and it's very hot starting out. What do you got, Bridget?
Pancake.
Oh, wow. But it is very hot starting out, which means it's really high nitrogen. It burn a lot of things, and we've kind of been playing with it. And instead of letting it sit for 2-3 months and to kind of mellow out, we found that we can put corn in it, things like sweet corn, and we really love sweet corn. And the sweet corn doesn't mind that it's hot. It actually likes it. And then when you pull that sweet corn out, you've got a lot more of a mellowed soil, and you got a lot of material to either we can feed the livestock and turn it into more compost, or just compost it for more compost. So you can go down there and show them kind of even the difference in maybe those bean beds and that corn bed. But it's coming along, and we do plan on getting wood chips in here and putting that on top of our landscape fabric. But for the time being, to keep the mud down and keep the weeds at bay, the landscape fabric works, and truthfully, it kind of tidies things up a good bit.
It definitely helps.
Yeah, it certainly does. So you can go show them that, and then I guess you can go show them that top terrace too. Or maybe you can go on that top terrace and just show them the top terrace and then look down.
We're eventually going to put in some steps on these slopes, but we haven't done to that yet. We've got lots of new beds coming in, old beds. We got okra. This is summer squash. This is practically done. It's got a couple left. Our cherry tomatoes, slicer tomatoes. So many cucumbers. We came through and picked a bunch of them yesterday. Still more coming. So this is a new bed. It used to be collards. More okra. Here's our second planting of summer squash, so you can see that still doing pretty good. I think we got some new plantings too. Oh yeah, we need to pick this, eat it tonight. These are our perennial beds. So that was the asparagus, and this is the strawberry, and that's the soil that he's talking about. We put compost on top. He's putting rabbit manure. These are the first year for these strawberry crowns, so they've really filled out the bed nicely. There's a couple spar spots that it'll fill in eventually. We just keep, every time I see a sucker over the edge, you just push it back in. But we really did these beds here because of this curve. The terraces curve around. Hi, boys.
Why don't you go see Mr. Brack? He's the smiley boy.
Have you been helping?
Whatever you do, don't compact that bed. I just aerated.
I think Daddy's telling me don't walk on it. You helping? Oh yeah, get those rocks out. Good job.
You can see here. And truthfully, there's not many people who think that clay's an asset, but if we can really open it up, like I'm doing right now, and add a good bit of humus in there, a good bit of compost, a lot of nutrients, and keep well drainage in here by not disturbing the soil, then sometimes that clay can be a bit of an asset. You get the worms coming up and down, and that clay does hold moisture a whole lot better than anything else, as long as it's covered. And so I wouldn't wish for it, but also, what'd you get?
Little ones.
Pick yourself some little squash.
Yes.
Oh, good. Alright.
Well, I'm almost done. Almost done for, well, at least a month or so, until it starts cooling down, maybe 2 months. But, when it starts cooling down, we're going to get that third terrace going, and then come next spring, and this fall, I think y'all are going to really want to see, these beds are going to be full of cabbage, kale, collards. I kind of miss having, did you get bunked with that basket? I kind of miss having kale chips, and so we can grow a lot. The key with our fall and winter greens is going to be get them started, get them big before winter, and then just pick them as you go. You don't want to be trying to grow them during winter. So. Hey, you picked some pretty small squash there, young lady.
Yes.
Fit in her basket.
What is that? Gonna be enough for 2 bites? We need to let it get a little bit bigger.
I'm growing it.
You're growing it?
No, I'm just gonna eat it.
You're gonna eat it?
No,
Okay.
I'm cooking
You're gonna cook it.
it.
Hey, you wanna tell everybody on YouTube bye-bye? You don't? Breck, do you wanna say bye-bye to everyone on YouTube?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Where my camera should go?